Hello, welcome back to the channel. My name is Lisa Elvin Stoltare, and I'm a genealogist and a passionate traveler. Over the last few years, I've been featuring each fille du roi or king's daughter and getting to know their stories a little bit better. There are over 700 of them. I am on, I kid you not, episode 242. Maybe not even halfway there. So we'll keep going on. Today, as I said, we're featuring episode 242, but before we begin, let me show you ways you can support the channel. The first three keep you in the know: subscribe, like, and notify. The next three are ways to help the channel grow. We have Ko-fi, which is a standalone platform where you can donate. And then Patreon, which is like a monthly subscription. And then we also have, on my website, Have Roots Will Travel, a PayPal button. So all of those are ways you can contribute. Thank you to all of you who have done so far. You warm the cockles of my heart. I appreciate you so much. So now, as I said, we're on episode 242. Our fille du roi of this episode is Jeanne Labbe. And she is a viewer request. When I went to my files, who did I find but my very best friend? This is also her great-grandmother. She was born in 1641 in Paris, France. Her parents were Charles Labbe and Marie-François. She was baptized in the Saint-Loup et Saint-Gilles church, which is found in the first arrondissement of Paris. It has housed the relics of the Empress Saint Helena, the mother of Constantine, since 1819, for which it remains a site of veneration in the Roman Catholic and Eastern Orthodox churches. This church was built in 1235 and was definitely part of the history of France for many, many reasons. And the first arrondissement of Paris is probably the smallest. It is known as Le Louvre because on the bottom left, you'll see the Louvre is right there. And it includes one of the oldest areas in Paris, the Ile de la Cité. And it's the least populated, as I've stated, because most of it is taken over either by the museum or in the Tuileries Gardens. The Forum des Halles is the largest shopping mall in Paris. It is found in the first arrondissement, and that is where she is essentially from. Now, how did she get to New France? She sailed on the Jean-Baptiste and arrived in Quebec on June 30th, 1669. She carried with her a dowry of 250 pounds. Jean-Élie de Breton is the groom she selected and who selected her. He was born in 1621 in a commune called Miniac in France. His father was Jean-Élie and his mother Jean Musnier. You can see by the map that he was born in Brittany. And inside of Brittany, the département or county is Morbihan. And his small town, which isn't so small, has 2,000 inhabitants today. And the church that he would have been baptized in is the Église Saint-Jean-Baptiste, John the Baptist, which began somewhere around the 11th century. So here's a picture of what it looked like probably in the early 20th century. And then we also have a more modern kind of how do you get there route, kind of into the city as it stands right now. Jean was a widow. He had been married in France and was a widow when he arrived in New France sometime between 1667 and 68. By October of 1669, Jeanne signed a contract with a man named Pierre Mercier, but it was annulled. By November 28, 1669, Jeanne and Jean were married at the Church of Saint-Famille d'Orléans. The family would settle on Ile d'Orléans. Ile d'Orléans is located in the St. Lawrence River, about 3 miles east as the crow flies of downtown Quebec City. The island was one of the very first parts of the province to be colonized by the French, and a large percentage of French Canadians can trace their ancestry to the early residents of the island. This island has been described as a microcosm of traditional Quebec and as the birthplace of Francophones in North America. It wasn't always called Ile d'Orléans. They actually renamed it in honor of the second son of King Francis I. His name was Henri II, but he happened to be the Duke of Orléans, so hence it became Ile d'Orléans. The island at different points was also known as Grande Île, Sainte Marie, and Saint Laurent. for a certain period. So in case you happen to stumble across script or some kind of research and you're wondering why is it called Grande Île, it is Ile d'Orléans. I also want to draw your attention to the fact that even though it's an island, it's subdivided into 6 sections. Each of those sections has a church and has a history. So some older and some bigger, but still you need to be very, very aware of that. We have Saint Pétronille, we have Saint Pierre, Saint Famille, Saint François, Saint Jean, and Saint Laurent. Each of these, as I stated, is like a separate city. And you need to find out first where your ancestors came in order to continue doing the proper research. They would go on to have 5 children. François, the firstborn, married Françoise Bidet and had 8 children, 5 of whom made it to adulthood. Françoise's mother was Françoise Desfossés, a fille du roi, who we have not yet profiled. Jeanne married Jean Fredette and had 12 children, 6 of whom made it to adulthood. Pierre married Marie-Rose Pépin and had 13 children, 11 of whom made it. He then married Marie-Hélène Laforme and had 12 more children. Shocking, 25 children, and 6 of those survived. Marie-Madeleine would marry Pierre-Jean Zuchereau and have 3 children, 2 of whom would make it. She then married Louis Bouton and had 1 child who did not make it. Jacques married Louise Casse and had 11 children, 8 of whom made it. In the 1681 census, we have Jean and Jeanne. You can see there's 20 years difference between them. They have children, François, Jeanne, Pierre, Madeleine, Jacques. They have 7 bêtes à cornes, 7 goats, and 10 arpents, about 8 acres of land on the island. Jean would pass away December 16, 1699 on the island of Orleans in the Saint-Jean district. He was 78 years old, a very long life in that period. He and Jeanne were married 30 years. Jeanne would live another almost 16 years, dying May 26, 1715. She is buried at Saint-Vallier and probably was living with one of her children at that time. She would have been 74 years of age. As of 1729, she would leave us with 83 descendants. As always, I want to make sure to let you know, in volume 12 of our French-Canadian ancestors, we have Jeanne de Breton of Brittany, and you will be able to download that chapter. It's chapter 12, and find out all about Jean-Élie and Jeanne Labbe. And as a lasting tribute, on the island, there is this beautiful monument to all of the founding families, and there is Jean-Élie de Breton and married Jeanne Labbe Saint-Jean. And when I was on the island this past summer, I took very close shots of all of the people, written up there. And there we have Jean-Élie de Breton and his spouse Jeanne Labbe for all time. Just amazing. As always, here are my favorite resources: La Société des Filles du Roi, Quebec Genealogical E-Society, Nos Origines, Wikitree, Filles du Roi Descendants, the Facebook page. If you're on Facebook, you got to get on there. Généalogie Québec. Please take a moment to actually look at this website, because it really will give you the information you need. Even if it's for a month and you just go hog wild, it's worth, I don't know how much it is per month, maybe $15 a month or something, but definitely worth it. And then you have Société d'Histoire des Filles du Roi, which is, if you read French, a fabulous website as well. All of that is listed in the notes section of this video. And so we come to the end of Jeanne Labbe's story, episode 242. She had lived a full life. It wasn't filled with drama. It really, she married a much older man, but they made it work and married for 30 years until his death. And then were able to have 83 descendants. Absolutely. It's a wonderful life, and we thank her for her, what must have been a hard life, in the sense of being an early pioneer and the kind of life they all lived. And being on that beautiful island, absolutely. I'm so glad that she is noted and honored for all time on that So we thank Jeanne for braving the New France and coming across and making certain that she made a difference in the lives that she touched and the lives she's still touching for any of you who are descendants of this wonderful lady. So with that being said, I also want to thank my patrons and supporters and subscribers. Thank you so much for everything you do. I really, really appreciate your comments and suggestions, even criticism. If I forget something, if something's off, I'd love to know, and if I can correct it, I will. You make me a better genealogist. So thank you so much for all you do. And with that being said, I will see you on episode 243 of Les Filles du Roi. Until then, au revoir.